Well, I think they should ride aggressive, and like I think if you look at the pass last week Hayden did on Levi, it's just like what Levi did to him, and there was a lot of complaining about that, but you didn't see us go complain about it. So I think aggressive riding is important. I don't think we can be completely so hands off. I think it's always been, an aggressive sport, and that's important.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch just wants us to run it in on people, and I did my best. Like, I made a lot of aggressive passes in that main event, and that's the only way I made it up there. I mean, you have to. There was not really places to pass, so Cameron was messing with me after the race because I ran in on him, but he didn't really know I was there, and he comes off. He's like, "You're the dirtiest rider ever," and he got me for a second. He was all serious. I felt so bad, and he's like, "I'm just messing with you too. I would have done the same thing."
I mean, you guys saw his pass on me. Like, it was extremely aggressive as it needed to be to get around me, but respectful. Like, that's how we race.
There you go.
I agree. I agree. I think that, I think there's a lot of comments and a lot of, people that keyboard warriors, let's call them, that get involved with, oh, that pass was dirty and this and that, and the case may be. Look, the passes we just showed, if anybody's watching from a YouTube standpoint, the passes we just showed there were all very, very methodical and clean passes. And that's what Supercross is, right? Like, typically a lot of your passing is done, very rarely is the passing done in like a full rhythm section or on the triple. It's either in the whoops or in the turns, right? And how do you pass somebody in the turns? You run them high, but you do it respectfully, like Cameron said. And if they end up running out of track room, then that's that for me, that's like, hey man, you should have never put yourself, Cameron, you should never put yourself in that position, knowing that like you're that far up, eventually you're going to run into the tough blocks. Eventually the track is going to end up where you're on the concrete. I like what Mitch said. Like, I think that, aggressive riding and a methodical passes and respectful aggressive-ness is all part of Supercross. And I think that we've seen Hayden's pulled some stuff. Levi did the pass, on Hayden and things like that. But you can't totally take all of that out of it. Sometimes shit's going to happen. And that's what I kind of chalk that up to be.
Yeah. Great ride for Cameron.
Yep.
I love, he looks like he's a little more in control and he's not overriding the motorcycle. I feel like in years past, and then the injuries, like sometimes he gets a little ahead of himself, and it's not from the lack of trying. He's just trying really, really hard. That's what I really respect about him. But I like what I've seen so far. I think he's in a great place. What we saw from Levi RV is rides that I think that he needs to be putting in every week. It's those style of rides, and I know you expect this from him, and I do as well. Like, those need to be every single weekend.
They do. Cameron has been riding well, like you said. I think the kind of the story of the night is the come through ride that Levi had, and what I see and what I want to see is obviously, like you said, those rides every single weekend. Hayden out front, Levi knowing that Hayden isn't in the race at this point for him. His job was to come through the pack and get up to the best position he could, and he was able to get to second. I think that's the lack on Levi's side right now, is once again between his ears. It's not the speed. He's got the speed. It's not the technical side. Levi's one of the most technical riders out there when it comes to riding Supercross and outdoors. But it's showing up every weekend, and it's tough to race against a guy like Hayden that is so mentally strong, and that nothing affects him. And I think certain things do affect Levi, and I think that that's where he needs to try to improve.
You talk about racing someone. You just brought something up that's really has a lot of validity to it. and looking big picture is like, yeah, we expect these things from Levi and other riders, even if it's in the 250 class or 450 class. But since we're talking about 250, we'll talk about Levi. And dude, he's racing perhaps a guy that's going to be one of the best ever to race in the 250 class. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that for everyone tuned in here, I wouldn't say that RV and I are being hard. I think we know what Levi is capable of, and we want to see him perform to that level every weekend. But as we say that, like RV just explained perfectly, like, dude, he is racing against a dude who is one of the best. And, you know, obviously he can't control that. You know, it's just, it is what it is, and timing of sport and who happens to be in your class. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that, RV. Well,
no, for sure. And like I said, I when we started this topic of Hayden, you know, there's only a handful of them that come out like Hayden has, myself, you, James. Those are the white whales that come out every so often, right? So
shitty timing for the competition.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I do think that some of Levi's mistakes come from him having to race Hayden. I do believe that.
That's fair. I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Said like who you're racing. I think, you know, pressure gets there, and then, you know, you react a certain way based upon who you're racing. So you might not be getting you might not be riding to your true potential because of your competitor that you're facing.